Hey everybody, in this quick video, I just want to show you how you can use Claude Code absolutely for free for your pyRevit development, or honestly, anything this little guy can do for you. And before I'm going to show you all the steps, first of all, I just want to show you that this is real. Have a look right here. So far, I managed to use 126 millions of tokens, and it costed me $0. But most importantly, I used all of that inside Claude Code, and you can do so as well. But before I begin and show you free steps to do that, I need to warn you that there are obviously limitations because whenever you use free, it's not going to give you unlimited access. However, right now there's a one model without any limitations, and it's actually a really good one. That's what I'm going to show you how to set up right away. And for that, there are three steps. First of all, you need to create Open Router account. Just go to openrouter.ai and then create an account. There's going to be some button right here. It's free. Then in here, you have to go to profile and we need to create an API key. You can see right here, there are API keys. Just click right there. And I'm going to create here new key. Just call it, I don't know, whatever you want, Claude tutorial. Then click on create. And then you're going to get this key. Normally, you should not show it to anyone, keep it safe. But since I'm going to revoke the key anyway, you can see it anyway. So I'm going to copy that one. That's step number one. So step number two is selecting the model. And for that, we're actually going to use a special model. A few days ago, somebody dropped Ox Alpha model, and it's a frontier model. Some people claim it's on par with Fable and GPT-5 and stuff like that. But I tried it, it's good. I'm not sure. I didn't really comprehensively test it. Is it better or not? But what matters is that that's 1 million of tokens, and there is a period of time, I think like a week, where we can use it absolutely for free. And I'm not even sure if there are any limitations. So that's what we're going to use. So to select this model inside Open Router, just go here, models. Let's find this model. It's going to be Ox Alpha. In here, we need to ensure that this is free. Here's the context window. That's important setting. And then we need to copy the name right here. So copy that one. Step number two is done. Now, the last step, we actually need to go and create a folder for your project. I already prepared it here. Just open with the code or however you like. Then inside, you would need to create that Claude folder so you can add your own settings on top. And that's where we're going to override inside settings.json what model we are using. So we will need to fill out this argument. So we need to create environment. Then inside, instead of Anthropic base URL, we're going to use openrouter.ai API. For the authentication key, this is the key that we copied earlier, right? Let me just remove that one and paste whatever the new key I created. It's here. Then this one, keep it blank. And then everywhere, so this is your default model, then default Opus, default Sonnet, default Haiku, and stuff like that. Put here the name of the model that you copied from right here. Let me just point it here. We wanted that one. Once you do that, put it everywhere. And after that, put this setting here and also set what's the max context tokens. In this case, 1 million for this model. So that's it. We did everything. Now we can open Claude in the terminal. Either do it within VS Code if you have it set up, or we can also just go straight to the folder where it's everything set up, right click, open in terminal, and right here, Claude. Normally it's lowercase, but uppercase also works. And you'll notice right here, it says Stealth Ox Alpha with extra high effort. It's API usage billing, but that's not Claude API billing. That's this kind of open router API billing. But in our case, it's free model. That's awesome. Let's start quickly. What's the model you are using? And I can also ask it here, what model do you use? Let me just put it side by side. So I'm just kind of running two terminals, but I'm just waiting whatever is going to reply me first. And right here, I'm Ox Alpha developed by undisclosed organization. And that's a very important point. Nobody really knows at the moment who made this model. And I think they made a really cool marketing stunt. They just dropped it absolutely for free without saying even who it's coming from. And now people using it and comparing it without really any bias, and they can tell this model is good or not. And so far, people say it's a good model. So with that in mind, just make sure you don't share any keys, any sensitive information, stuff like that. But that's pretty much the rule for all models, even if you use OpenAI or Anthropic, because they also gather all your data. Now we can actually take it for a spin. I think just for simplicity of tutorial, I'm just going to use it inside VS Code. First of all, I'm going to write something. Create me an HTML page describing why pyRevit is so good. Make it a dark theme, use orange accent color, and just make it modern design. And also make it highly interactive and playful, so there are some elements I can interact with while I read the page. Let's see what kind of HTML pages it creates. And also, I'm going to open the second terminal right away, and we're going to try some pyRevit task. So I'm just going to point it to a folder. I'm not going to give it any skills, really. Just going to say, here's the path. Here is the path to my pyRevit extension. Sorry for the caps lock. That's because I use caps in my shortcuts. And now here we're gonna write something like, I'd like to create a new pyRevit push button, and this has to be a new tool for advanced selection in Revit UI. I would like to have some VPF form where I will be able to select from categories, parameter, and set parameter value to filter elements. And I want to have buttons to select elements, isolate isolate them in the current view, and also create new 3D view where they're going to be isolated by default. Yeah, I think that's fine. I'm asking quite a lot right away. I'm not really going through the steps. I'm not going to use any real skills here. Let's just send it in and see what happens. I don't know if it's going to succeed or not. I haven't tried it on pyRevit really so far. I just played for the website because, well, I'm currently testing different design websites for my wife so she can have a website she wants. Now, while Claude creating that, let me also address another limitations. Because this model is available for like a week, and after that, probably it's gonna set the correct pricing. You won't be able to use it for free anymore. So whatever you wanna do, just use this model and just burn through all the tokens you can because, well, it's free. But later, when this model becomes paid, you actually have a few other options. When we go to Open Router, you can go here to the models. And in there should be a filter here. You can select free models. Let's set that, scroll through. There are a bunch of models we can choose from. There are some limitations. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. You can see some models gone away, but mainly there's like most of them quite small models, like 31 billion parameter. Then if I scroll through, let's see what's the biggest one we can find. This one is 118 total parameters. I think the way you can judge the models by looking at the usage. This is how much different people manage to use it already in total. And we can look for something in trillions. For example, that one is popular. 1 trillion tokens used so far. This one, 2 trillion tokens. Scroll through, and I saw their Gemma. Actually, not that popular. Let's go and pick one of these more popular models, like that one. So I'm going to select that one. Again, we need to check here the context and the name of the model, which is here. Then we need to set another project, which I already prepared. Let me just see. So I'm going to use here another folder. Let me open it in another VS Code. You see it's a new project. There's nothing going on here. I just need to change a few things. First of all, I'm just going to go and grab the name of the model, which is that one right here. So copy that one, then go to the main page. And here we just need to change the model we are using. So select everything, replace, done. Another quick check, let's go back. And we need to check what is the context we can set. 262,000. That's what we want to put. Let's get back and put it here. 262,000. If you're not going to put that one, I think by default it's going to set everything to 200,000, even if the model is capable of 1 million or something. Now let's just run it in the Claude Code terminal. And here we go. Now we're using this pool site Laguna. I have no idea who made this model, never heard of it before, but people using it, maybe it's good. Now let's test it. What model are you using? Sorry for the caps again. And you might see an error. In this case, we can read what's going on. And this is the limitation I mentioned earlier. Let's have a look here. So it tells me that error 429. So you can see I exceeded my free models per day usage. I need to add 10 credits to unlock 1,000 free model requests per day. So there are limitations, obviously, because nobody's going to give you like Fable-like models for free, run every day and stuff like that. And that's justified. So in this case, you can see I cannot use that one. Actually, I'm going to wait for like another hour and see if I can run it, because maybe it will reset and I can see if it works. But right now, what matters, you can actually run this Aux Alpha model unlimited, and that's what I highly recommend you. So if you're watching this video very close to its release date, just go and do that right away. Just abuse it as you can, see what you can do. Spend all the tokens you always wanted for some projects. But for other models, apparently there is limit. Honestly, I did not know about that before I started recording, so I decided to include it anyway. Now we need to provide some input, the whole model. I think we want to checkbox. And then for categories, multi-category is fine. Yeah, that's totally normal. So it already sees that to create VPF, we need script.xaml next to script.py. So it's already on the right path. Again, I haven't opened my pyRevit extension inside this project environment, so I'm not even sure if it's going to read other buttons to understand a little bit more about pyRevit. I'm just testing its raw capabilities, and I wouldn't be surprised if it fails a bit. But we're going to see. Now, the first one is coming to an end. You might see some errors. For example, that one, it says that it cannot publish artifacts because, well, to publish Claude artifacts, you have to be on the Claude plans officially, and therefore it's not gonna. It's just asking you to kind of log in. But it finished it anyway. Here's the file, free Claude, pyRevit love letter. Oh, interesting. Let's open that one, and I'm gonna go in preview. Let me just squeeze everything in so we can see it full screen, and Pirate isn't fair in your favor. Ah, I love that. Start playing. What is going on here? Ooh, do the chore both ways. What's going on? We can run some command. We run it. It activates it. I have no idea what's gonna happen, but okay. So one line, we got all the walls. Whatever. A toolkit that ships loaded. Well, that's not really true. You need a few more lines, but it's kind of possible. Let's go. It answers back. Well, what is that? Model type a command. No way. Test. Can I do something here? I have no idea what it is. Oh, there's like count walls. Yeah, I mean, it's faking some stuff here. But again, I tried to make it playful, so that's what it is. The output window is out. The output window is the flex. I don't know, run it. So we're gonna run some script, audit complete. Yeah, with this kind of print statement, we actually can make nice print statement, not in dark theme like that, but you get the point. Let's see, graduate from script to tools, right? So we create buttons. Honestly, I like the kind of playful style and stuff like that. Information is not as good. I tried something earlier, so I restored the file. So this was during the first tutorial I made, which I'm kind of deleting now. Let's have a look right here. It's on another screen. So in this case, it made it like this. pyRevit is so good. Here I didn't ask for playful. It was like very dumb prompt. But again, it tells you some things. Cost you nothing. It belongs to everyone. Revit API without ceremony. I love that part. Ships loaded. There are a bunch of tools coming. Your own toolbar, literally a folder. That's true. You create a folder, link to pyRevit. You have full extension in Revit. And deploy to every desk in an afternoon. That's very simple. Script that fire themselves. Community, not a vendor. Yeah, styling, not bad. Obviously, it went for certain style with this kind of outlines and stuff like that. Not really my cup of tea, but it's not bad. I cannot say that this is a bad design overall. It's very clear, easy to read, and so definitely a good one. Now, now let's actually go and have a look if it made any progress on the button. I see it's finished, context clear. Um, so it made the spec for the build. So it used some skills for sure. Let's see. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Go for it. So yeah, I have to wait a bit longer now. All right, so I did some stuff. Let's see, it already tells me that I can go and test it, so I need to reload to see the button. I have no idea what to expect. Is it going to work or not? No idea. I didn't really give it enough context about what pyRevit it is, how it works. Hopefully, it managed to do it on its own. We're just going to see if this model is really capable of or not. All right, so here's our new button. Let's just go to some maybe 3D view so we can actually test it. Now let's go here. Well, obviously this is not very good. So obviously there is no any styling, but maybe it's not that bad. I was gonna ask wall, parameter is gonna be comments, test, select. It actually works, gave me a print statement. So we have the main functionality working. It cannot isolate because it needs transaction. Can I do new view? Probably the same. It actually can create new 3D view. So it's not bad. We have the raw functionality. Let's just go and ask it. I cannot isolate anything. It asks for transaction. Secondly, I want to improve the category selection, make it checkboxes. So it's easier to actually select something, not by accident. And add their search bar with filtering so I can quicker find the categories I want. Thirdly, I want you to update the XAML form, well, the VPF form, so it's actually much nicer, make it rounded corners, dark theme, orange accent color, and make some very basic hover effects over buttons and stuff like that. And of course, make no mistakes. Please don't add the last one. All right, so finish some updates. Here are the changes. Let's just go and see how it works now. So I'm going to click on the button. And well, that's way better. Now I want my wall, maybe floors. I don't know. Then in area, let's go for the comments, test, select. I don't like this print statement. I would normally don't do that. So we can select it, isolate in view, works, new 3D view, also works. That's pretty decent. I like that. Well, there are a few stylings we can do. For example, this track bar we could change. For the comments, we could see available maybe options to better kind of navigate. But so far, that's a decent design. It works. It's fast. I'm quite happy about that. Lastly, I just want to quickly go through the code. I'm not really going to break it down, but I just want to see if it's actually readable and good or not. So here's what it produced. And here's the Python code. I can see right away it definitely copied a few things from how I like to style my buttons, but also it made some weird things like this. Also, here's a plus for some reason. Interesting. Well, it made a bunch of imports, variables, then bunch of functions. Okay, so it made lots of functions, then created main class for the window, where it mainly reuses functions from above, overrides internal kind of methods. Um, I mean, there are many things different to how I would like it to do, but at the same time, it's also they definitely copied the naming conventions I use. For example, that one I like to use it UI event. I don't know if anybody else uses that specific one. Um, I mean, not bad. I think a few functions they just written like yeah, I would normally write like everything compact, like straight to the point, not always maybe descriptive, but overall that's fine. For the example, it made a bunch of styles. Let's keep that. The form itself, I mean, that's good. Again, it definitely looked up how I like to style it because I can see there's comments for everything. It separated the resources because by default, AIs always like to make single thing and it becomes a bit weird because all styles embedded, but it separated it. I mean, not bad. I'm not really gonna spend a lot of time here looking at the code, but from so far, from what I can see, that's decent, especially when I didn't tell AI anything. I just told it like one prompt, like, hey, make me a tool. And considering the prompting we gave and context, I think the result is really, really good. Yeah, so give it a try. Tell me what you think about the model, especially when you connect all the skills and stuff like that. I'm a bit busy right now with other things, so I cannot really test it throughout. But I would love to hear your experience in the comments. So guys, if you want a decent model to use absolutely for free, now is the best time. Just go and follow the steps I showed you and just absolutely abuse it. Open like up to like, I don't know, 10 Claude versions. Just start pumping up as much code as you can. Obviously, it's going to be way better if you already have the skills for VPF and all of that. And if you don't, well, I'm currently working on a new training for showing how to use AI workflows with pyRevit to set everything up, where I'm going to teach you how to build and deploy your pyRevit toolbar in 90 days. It's not ready yet. I'm currently working with my beta founders group. Once it's ready, you will be able to join. I'm going to leave some links in the description once it's ready. And as always, happy coding. See you in the next one. Goodbye.